Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Feature Spotlight series. My name is Jodi Liston. I'm the founder and principal consultant at College and Prep. At College and Prep, we strive to assist families in their search for the most fulfilling and beneficial path to make their child's academic journey one filled with excitement and self-confidence and great reward. We work with families of all ages, from pre-K through high school, post-grad years, summer, gap, and college placements. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with a one-on-one interview with my friend, Maureen Smith, from the Marvelwood School in Kent, Connecticut. Maureen, please introduce yourselves to our families and tell them a little bit about you and a little bit about Marvelwood.
Great. Thank you, Jodi, for inviting me to this. This is great. So I'm Maureen Smith. I'm the director of admissions at the Marvelwood School. I've been with the school 12 years. I absolutely love it. It is just a phenomenal community. Marvelwood, we actually consider every student of ours an individual. We do an individualized curriculum for each student. So if your student has a diagnosed learning difference, about 50% of our student body does, we're going to work with you and work with the student and work with your kiddo to make sure that they're getting the best plan and the best support that they need. If your student's looking for small classes, individual attention, some experiential learning, they don't want to be in a big school of 3,000 or 1,500, that's our other 50% of our student body. They're looking for some, again, experiential learning, honors courses, advanced placement, being able to play on that soccer team or basketball team, even though there's, not being 100 other students that are vying for that same spot. So they're looking for that individual attention and being part of our community. One of the big things that I looked at as an admissions director, especially when I'm interviewing students, is do they want to be a community member? Are they looking to have those friendships made and those experiences shared with faculty and with other students? And that's an important thing for us because we know that having a school of only 120 to 130 students, everybody is known here. Everybody, you can't be a number. You really have to be part of our community. Right. And that's a little bit about Marvelwood.
I often think, as your description, thank you for that. I think of Marvelwood really as what I would call like a soft landing school. It is an intimate community. And, our families come to us seeking all kinds of experiences for their child or children. You may have one child who is deeply devoted to a STEM education and is very headstrong into looking for the most rigorous academic campus and setting that they can find, where another student may not thrive in a setting like that. And I think about Marvelwood as a beautiful little softer, where you can have rigorous academics, but you also have a bit of softness to it, a little bit less of that competitive edge, correct, which I don't think is always right for every family. I'm wondering, I know you shared a little bit about who your learners are. Can you talk a little bit about a unique program that is unique to your school, that's unique to Marvelwood? And you can also maybe throw in there a little bit about your Camp Dunnebeck over the summer as well, maybe.
Sure, great. So for science, one of the things that we are standout for is our ornithology program. We have an ornithology program and an animal behavior program that I think we're only one other high school in the country that has ornithology, and we actually work with Cornell regarding this. So it's a great program, and it's every type of learner can be in that. We actually are a National Audubon Bird Banding Center here at Marvelwood. So that's really cool. And then of course, our support services, what we call our Clark Center for Learning. We have 3 levels of support, which is really a hallmark of Marvelwood. We have an Orton Gillingham intensive for students that are dyslexic that need that Orton Gillingham continual remediation for dyslexia. Then we have what's called Strategies 1 and Strategies 2. Strategies 1 is one-to-one teacher student that they meet every day for 1 period a day. So one of their electives would be with that one teacher, and they do whatever that student needs. They get a Marvelwood academic plan, and on that Marvelwood academic plan, it states all the things that they need. It's executive functioning, time management, engagement. Maybe it is still some work with this dyslexia or dysgraphia. Maybe it's learning to use tech for those things. Whatever that child needs is worked on in that program. And then they go from strategies 1, which is 1-to-1, to strategies 2, which is a small group, 3 or 4 students with one teacher. And again, that's like executive functioning, time management 101. And we also are working with group dynamics. What if your child's an introvert and they end up going to have to work with a group with an A personality? How do they step up and go to the plate and be able to fight for themselves and advocate? Or maybe we have a student that is constantly in the test to be number 1. And how do we teach them to back up a little bit and give other members of the group an opportunity? So we work with them on that, so that in college and life, business, things that you have to do. We don't see our strategies program as just a learning center for getting into college. We find it that it's a life skills center, so that they have the opportunities to really advocate for themselves in business and college and on that high school resume when they want to get that job for the summer. We work on all of those things and strategies. Now in the summertime, we made a partnership with the Kildonan School, which is we offer our Orton Gillingham OT, what we call OG intensive. Kildonan runs a camp called Dunnebeck. Dunnebeck joined us 2 years ago here at Marvelwood, and we had about 60 students this past summer. They run between 60 and 80 students every year. They go from 3rd grade through 10th grade, sometimes 11th, for students that need to have some remedial work with dyslexia or executive functioning type skills they work on. So they do programmatic educational stuff during the day, but then there's lots of camp. They do horseback riding and archery and swimming and all the camp fun stuff that they do here at Marvelwood. It's a really nice way to also try boarding, because for about 6 or 7 of the teachers are our teachers. They are on our campus with our dining service in our dorm rooms and our facilities. So it's a really good way to try what would boarding be like here at Marvelwood.
Fantastic. We have just a few minutes left, maybe about 10 minutes, and I do have a few more questions for you. Something that I'd like to break down for families is that very comprehensive application process. And as part of that application process, something we spend a lot of time coaching and guiding both the student and the parents on is preparing for that tour and interview. We really try to say to parents, look, this is meant to be fun. This is an exciting time. Kids, yes, you should be prepared to have some questions when you go to campus and show interest and be an engaged person. Not everybody has to be an extrovert and gregarious, but certainly show a level of interest in that you've done a little bit of your homework. What are you looking for in a student while they're touring campus and when you're meeting with the family or with the student in that interview? Let's try to destigmatize that just a little bit. What does that look like for you? What would you say to our families?
One of the things that I always do is I actually say to the student, would you like to have a conversation with me? Sort of take off that sort of interview, like, let's just have a conversation, you and I. And that's how I sort of say, instead of saying, come on in here and have an interview, I said, come on here, let's have a conversation. We want to know about you, right? We just want to know something that sort of you really like or something that makes you really happy. So have that written down. A couple of questions that you're always going to want to ask, like, what is it food like? What are the kids here like? Can I meet somebody? Do you think I would fit in? Do you think I would have some friends here? Those are important questions for you to ask, because that's the one thing I always say, can you see yourself here?
Right.
And that's important for Marvelwood, especially being in a small community too. So look at it as a conversation. Don't look at it as a bunch of questions you're going to be asked and you need to know the answer, or that it's a test of any way. It's not. It's just going to be an easy conversation, and just have some questions, open-ended questions that you want to ask also. Because
what might be a question that you might ask a student, do you think? Just so let's put their minds at ease right here. What is something, if I were a student sitting in front of you, what's something that you might ask me to help me get more at ease and also find out a little bit more about me?
Well, Jodi, what I would say is, Jodi, tell me about something you really love. And it could be something that you do or something you participate in or a pet. Like, tell me something that you really love.
Well, like an icebreaker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we also ask, tell me about what you think your perfect school is. If you had a magic wand and you can go, zap, this is Jodi's perfect school. What would that look like?
Right.
That's
I
always a
often
difficult
ask the same thing. I love that question. I
Mhm.
love that question. That's a great one. And it's interesting to hear not only what the children have to say, but what the families have to say. And is
Exactly.
that aligned at all, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
So, one just sort of fun question I have for you, Maureen, is that I've come over the years as I travel. I've visited many, 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 many schools. Not that I want to like age myself or date myself here, but after seeing many schools across the country, it's interesting to me always to find out a fun fact about that school. And so, as an example, right, is that only the seniors can cross the lawn because that's the graduation lawn. Or another school has milk and cookies every morning at 9:45 after first period as just, a tradition. What kind of fun tradition or something unique to Marvelwood could you share with our families that are watching us today?
Sure, we have lots of fun, different traditions, but one that we started a few years ago is we have a cup challenge. So everybody at the beginning of school, they move in, we have orientation for the new students, and then we have a whole community dinner. And all the new students and all the new faculty members or anybody new here that Marvelwood all get chosen to be in a house. So I'm in the House of West. I will always be in the House of West. So we have West, Sanchez, Everett, and Doss, which are 4 long-term faculty members. And we each have a color. So when you get pulled for the cup, you get doused in the color of, gold, green, or yellow with beads and bandanas and everything. And then you get to have dinner with that group that night. And through the first Monday of every month, we do a minute to win it competition. So all of the houses get together and we do a fun activity. Then there's different times you can give points. So if somebody helped me out, particularly, I said, I'd like to give 10 points to that house for coming and helping me. And then every month we have a different house dinner that is sponsored by the house. And the House of West is known for breakfast for dinner, and you can wear pajamas to dinner. And we cook omelets and waffles and pancakes and everything for the student body that night.
I want to
It's
come.
really fun. I know. It's really fun.
I like breakfast for dinner.
Mhm.
That, what I love about that as well, and teasing, I really do like breakfast for dinner. But what I love about that is the community that you're building. Right. We could talk about academics and we could talk about learning centers and all the wonderful things. We know kids are going to get a great education at Marvelwood. But what I'm also hearing is you're building community and friendships and relationships, not only amongst peers, but also with your teachers who are your mentors, right? And helping set the stage for your future. So, I think that's an incredible tradition.
We are primarily boarding. We're usually about 80% boarding, but even our day students are given spaces in the dorm. They're given a bed and a desk and, part of the dorm. We want that community feel. And we have faculty, 80% of our faculty live here or in the surrounding area within 2 miles of campus. So it's really is a community here on our little mountain in Kent, Connecticut. So
yeah, and again, a beautiful area. Maureen, this has been terrific. Before we close, we have just a couple of minutes left. Is there anything that you want to be sure that parents know about you, understand about your school and what it has to offer that we've not maybe touched on in just this last minute or so?
Sure, I think we touched heavily on the support, but like you said earlier, we also offer multiple variable calculus and economics. And so we really see the student that might have a real love for a certain area, but might struggle a little in another. So say they can do multivariable calculus as a junior, but they struggle with writing essays. And that really is something that we work really well with, where we can actually have those high-end courses that are going to keep them really engaged and interested, and then work with them in the areas that they need. And then the students that need all high-end courses, they can, but we don't want them to make them anxious about them. Like, you know what, you can do this, and we're going to help you make sure you can do this. Yeah. And it's an important part of Marvelwood for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Maureen, before we go, please feel free here to share your contact details. How do families find you as they're watching this and they want to know more about Marvelwood? Of course, we're happy to speak with them. How can they reach you directly?
Sure. So our emails are our name. So it's maureen.smith@marvelwood.org. You can also email admission@marvelwood.org. And we're in Kent, Connecticut, and our phone number is 860-927-0047. We are happy to see you. We are open and operating for tours. So please come up and take a look. We'd love to have you here on campus.
We certainly will encourage families to come and tour campuses. I think you can't get any better of a sense than actually being on the ground and seeing the entire campus in action. It's always such a great vibe. And this is a beautiful time of year to visit campus. We, of course, when we post this video, will include your details and information. And we invite families, of course, to reach out to us at College and Prep. You can find us at www.collegeandprep.com. You can call our office at 914-401-4442. You can email us at info@collegeandprep.com or any one of our consultants directly. And we look forward to communicating with you and possibly assisting you to learn more about Marvelwood and the entire admissions process for seeking out a great match for your son or daughter as they endeavor to look for day and or boarding schools. Maureen, I can't wait to see you on campus. I was fortunate enough to see you recently at a conference, which was lovely to see you in person. Thank you so much for doing this with me today. And I'll hopefully see you again very soon.
I hope so too, Jodi. Thank you very much for inviting me today.
Terrific. Thanks so much.